Hey, everybody. Welcome to Perpetual Motion, a podcast about wellness, relationships, communication, and self-care. Usually, I interview experts from all over the globe to share tips and tools to help you level up. But today, I'm going solo. I'm going solo because it's been on my heart that I need to talk about grief. More importantly, how to overcome grief, how to get through that valley of darkness that seems endless. I have so many friends, and I see so much on the news about people who are just struggling, just in a dark place and unable to come out of it. And it makes sense. I mean, look at what's going on in the world, overseas and here in the United States around us. There's divisiveness, there's war, there's disease, and on a personal level. I mean, the divorce rate is higher than it's ever been. And if you include those long-term relationships that tragically ended with you going your separate ways, that's another type of divorce, whether there was paper behind it or not, right? We've got kids going off to college, feeling that empty nest syndrome. So many ways. I mean, bankruptcy, finances, losing your home, losing your car, having to move back in with your parents. It just hits us from everywhere. These are all types of loss, all of which lead to grief. A friend of mine, Clint Callahan, says something so profound. He says, grief is the sadness of forced change. That's what it is. Forced change. We've gotten in the habit of something. We've gotten comfortable with something, and now it's being taken from us involuntarily. So, because I have been through a lot of loss, if you know my story, I have a rare form of cancer. I've had 2 major surgeries, including the removal of my stomach. You talk about loss and a change of life and having to accept a new normal. That's been ongoing for me for a dozen years. And I'm dealing with the side effects, the forced change of medication that I have to take daily to live. I lost my dad 3 years ago to cancer, and I have cancer. So you can imagine what it was like watching him go through that and suffer and just wondering, is this going to happen to me as well? I've been divorced. I've a long time. So I've had relationships that have ended not in a good way, not mutually amicable. Jobs, friends, those friends who just decide they don't like you anymore. And you're like, no, what did I do? They won't even talk to you. They ghost you. No communication. All of those things can just leave you in a dark space. And I don't know about you, but I've had it happen to me where numerous forced changes occur at once. And I just get this heavy weight, this darkness, feeling unloved and unlovable. And so I want to talk about today how I've overcome those feelings that are so common to many of us, how I've moved on with life after loss. I'm going to share some steps. Take them all, take whatever you need, but I promise you, this will get you through the grief if you just focus on these things: move, connect, and communicate. Let me repeat that: move, connect, and communicate. Communicate with your boss, with your manager, with your team, with your employees. Let them know what you're going through. That secret squirrel, I don't talk about my business thing, doesn't work when it comes to loss, because that loss is reflected in your behavior, in your tone, in your body language. And if people don't know what you're dealing with, then they won't show you the compassion that you need, the love that you need. They won't give you the time that you need. I know most of us grew up with keep your business in the family. We don't talk about it, but we need to communicate. You don't have to tell everybody. You don't have to put it on Facebook. I do, but that's just me, because I want all 2,000-3,000 of my friends praying for me. You don't have to do that. But don't judge me for doing it. Don't judge other people for doing it. If that's their way of crying out, getting help, having someone somewhere say, I'm praying for you, I'm thinking about you, what can I do? Maybe they're not getting that on a personal level. Maybe that's why they're posting it. And really, We can't judge people in grief. Your mind is altered. Your thoughts are altered. So if you are able, take leave from work. If you have PTO, use it. If you have those days you can get off for grief, use them. Take advantage of them. It's a benefit. You owe it to yourself to take time to heal. As the 2020 lockdown reminded the world, you are not indispensable. You're important, but you're not indispensable. Don't do further injury to yourself by trying to work, trying to function when your mind is in a bad space. You won't be effective. You won't do a good job. And if you haven't shared with your colleagues or whomever on a need-to-know basis, they won't look at you fairly. They won't assess you fairly because they don't know. And it's going to be more stress on you. When this thing happens, when it first starts out, it's like a blow from the universe. Oh, it hurts so badly for someone to say they don't love you anymore, for you to suddenly be laid off like those Tesla employees a couple of weeks ago, for you to lose something that's precious to you, a child, a grandparent, because it is such an impact emotionally. It affects you physically. Lay down, rest, sleep. Don't try to walk it off. Just go in with that inclination for 2 days. Limit it. Don't stay in that bed forever. Yes, I said move, but just accept that blow, reel from it. Take a couple of days and just take it in and just let your mind go wherever it wants to go. Cry if you need to cry. You don't have to hold that in. Crying is the way that we relieve ourselves of some of that grief. It's the sadness leaking out. Let it flow. 2 days, no more than 2 days. And then you get up. And every day you set an alarm to wake you up, and whatever it takes, get yourself up out of that bed. Another step. Don't overthink. Don't overanalyze. Don't replay things endlessly. If you get out, here's where the movement comes in. Get out, walk, ride your bike, go shopping with cash. No credit card because you'll impulsively buy some things, and no card. Just walk around, look at things. Go to the park. Do something every day that you normally enjoy. It may not feel enjoyable, but it's important for you to refuel your anorexic spirit with things that will eventually bring you joy again. Do not, here's my next tip, do not watch or listen to the news. And I'm telling you this as a news junkie. The news, today's news, is other people's problems all over the world. Other people's very major problems, because they have to be big to get that type of attention for the media to even, there's stories happening all the time, but they pick the ones that are most catastrophic to show us you don't need that right now. You don't need more problems. At this time, focus on self-love, self-care, be selfish, period. My next tip, do not go dark and ghost everyone. That is my natural inclination. Hurt. I don't want anybody around me. I don't want to talk. But I have learned that is just the opposite of what you need to do when you have experienced loss, when you're grieving. You need to connect. Community, your tribe, your friends, your family, whomever you can trust with your fragile, vulnerable psyche. That is the anchor that keeps you from floating into a whirlpool of permanent despair. Check that email and the voicemail 3 times a day. You've got to have very strict boundaries and limits on everything. And use auto response if you can for the people who are not part of assisting you through this journey. Do not let yourself be overwhelmed with work problems and other people's problems. Deal with you. And when you do need space, I'm not saying just go out and party all day and connect all day, day party, night party, shop all day. Just every day for an hour or two, try to get out of the house, try to get out of the darkness and connect with others. And then when you need that downtime, because we have to heal, we have to heal. Tell your friends and family. Tell them you need space. Tell them you need prayer. But let them know when you'll be available again. Don't worry them also. That's not fair. And don't make them guess what's going on with you. Everyone is different. I know. So this advice is to be used as it applies to you. But I know that it works. I could do hours of programming on the trauma, on the loss, the sexism, ageism, discrimination, racism that I have endured, the opportunities that I should have gotten and I didn't, the relationships that I thought would work and they didn't. So I am telling you this, not as a psychology expert, but as from a place of experience, from what this boomer has done to get to where I am today. In those conversations, again, talk to positive and supportive people, people who will listen to you, people who will let you be angry, let you be upset, those people who just cut you off. If you need to vent, you need to express your emotions, find the people who will allow you to do that. Some people truly do have a gift for that. They have a gift for that. Again, don't disappear and frighten everyone. That's punishment to them. You're going to find that your mind is scattered. Here's my tip about that. You're forgetful, your mind is scattered. Try to finish one thing. Finish one thing before you move to the next thing. If you're making the bed, just make the bed. Don't stop and fold the clothes or see those shoes in the corner and decide they need to go in the closet or go in the bathroom and for whatever reason start cleaning the mirror. Whatever thing you start, finish that thing. Don't multitask, don't time stack, don't context switch. Do one thing at a time. That's all your mind can handle. You'll be more effective. You might not get as much done, but you will complete some things, and that will have a positive effect on your reality. Again, with the focus, with things being scattered, you're going to feel like, oh my goodness, I can't remember anything. I can't do anything. Put things back in their place immediately after use. Emotions cloud your memory. If you cannot find something, don't panic. Don't work yourself into a tizzy. Sit, breathe, retrace your steps mentally and physically. And if you still can't find it, child, let it go. Let it go for a bit. You know how you can't remember a name or a movie or whatever, and you just let it go and you go do other things, and then it comes to you hours later? That may be the case with this thing you're looking for that you're probably making more important than it is. Listen, purses and keys are overrated anyway. Just walk away, come back to it later. Delegate. Delegate. When you share with those friends and family, they're going to ask, what can I do? How can I help? For a long time, I'd just be like, nothing, I'm fine. It's okay. Just check in. Just pray for me. It is helpful to them and helpful to you to give them something to do. It can be significant. It can be tiny. It can be, can you pick up my kids for me today, please? I just don't feel like driving. Emotionally exhausted. Can you pick me up a sandwich? Do you mind sweeping my patio? Whatever, something that you need done, your car wash. Give them something. And then they won't be hanging around asking you what you need either. Just send them off. It's practical and productive, but you'll feel better that it's accomplished. One less thing for you to worry about. And they'll feel good knowing that they're able to help you. Let people help you. One of my biggest lessons learned, let people help you, whether they came over for a dinner party or they came over to sit with you after a loss. Let them help, especially with those tasks you just don't have the strength to do. And lastly, but most importantly, there is no timeline for grief. I wish I could tell you 2 weeks, you ought to be over it. 2 months, you ought to be over it. Some people, it goes for a year. But after that initial fall off the cliff a forced change, you should slowly and gradually be making your way back up the hill to a place where you feel more comfortable, where you feel more joy, where you're actually able to truly smile and truly laugh again. For me, it's 2 months. If I can't get myself back together in that period of time, and I'm not talking about debilitating sadness, but that chronic sense of doom and gloom where you can function, but you just really don't see colors. You just really don't feel joy. If that is turning into weeks and weeks and months, get professional help. You may need medication. You just may need professional therapy to talk it out. But you can become suicidal. You can ruin your other relationships because you're in this dark place and unable to connect and communicate. Significant others can only deal with that for so long because if they love you, it's causing them pain as well. When you wonder, how did they leave a person with this problem or with that problem? How did a spouse leave? Because they could not take the pain either. So for yourself, for your relationships, for your team, for your businesses, when needed, get professional help. Just know that grief is normal and recovering from grief, from loss, is possible. This is my wish for you. This is my prayer for you. Thank you. Wasn't that a great program? Oh, love that episode. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Learn more about me on my website, drmoanderson.com. That's MOE. You can read book excerpts, watch videos, learn about my services that I offer, and book me for a speaking engagement. I'd love to talk with your group, and I'd love to work with you. So until the next time, review, renew, and re-you. Thank you.